Hey guys, this is Hannibus here, and today I'm going to show you a couple tips that might save your life in FL Studio. So the first thing is your project backup. I don't know how many times I've had my projects crash on me and fucking ruin a bunch of work I've done. So today you're just going to go up into your options, your file settings, and then you're going to have your frequency here for how often your backup's going to autosave. It's basically every 5-10 minutes. You can choose it after you do a risky operation, more or less, if you're trying to load something in or you might crash your project. So that would be the first tip, and I think it's pretty helpful. You can do up to 20 times 30 backups, and that might save you a great amount of time. So the next tip I want to tell you guys about is Control Z. Everybody should know about Control Z. It lets you undo things that you've messed up. You can also hit Alt Control Z to go back farther than one step. That's a quick key. So you can right click on the undo button up there and it'll take you back to your undo section so you can go back and forth, kind of like a history. So if you want to make it so you can undo your knob tweaks, you just go up to options and general settings, and there's just a button over here that you click, and now you can undo any kind of parameters you switch on your Citrus FM matrix or like a LFO speed or your filter or something. Any knobs with any native FL plugins will work. You can also adjust your maximum undo level, and that's pretty much going to make you comfortable with the amount of Control Z's you can use, or Alt Control Z's. The next tip I'm going to show you guys is how to dump the last 5 minutes of your keys logged into your MIDI or your piano roll. So say you're just messing around with a piano and you finally find something that you're not recording but you happen to like, then you can pretty much dump the last 5 minutes of whatever you've pressed from whatever synth you've used into the piano roll, and you can adjust things from there. You can, play a little bit here or there, a couple chords you like, and dump them all back into the piano roll to be edited. So that option is up under the tools, and it's just going to tell you to dump your score log. And that'll populate whatever instrument you have selected at the time. So piano, bass, whatever you need. Alright, the next tip I'm going to give you guys, or the fourth tip I'm going to give you guys, is how to stop all the crackling and popping in your song when you have too much things, too many VSTs going on, or too much of your RAM's used up, or not your RAM, your CPU, sorry. So basically you're going to want to change your sound card from your primary sound card to FL Audio ACO or ACO for all, and then check the buffer length to make sure that you're getting just enough power so you're not making everything lag when you're pressing buttons or anything, but you're not getting all those pop-ins that you're fucking terrible. Another option you could use is to freeze all your tracks and bounce them to audio files, which would actually save your CPU a lot from the VST or the synth processors. So the first option would definitely be to use a different sound card and then check the buffer length. The second option would be to freeze all your tracks or bounce them to audio file instead of a MIDI, which is a little more complicated to freeze your tracks. I might put another tutorial out for that. But also, they use a lot more memory than the CPU when you bounce them to an audio file. So there's a bunch of options for your latency compensation in the different panels for the FL Studio ACO or the ACO for all. I would just mess around with these. If you're using a mic or something, you might need to check out these options, but if you're just using it to control the pop-ins, then I would just leave it to a normal buffer length and kind of go from there. So the next tip I'm going to give you guys is how to extend your memory on FL Studios. So if you happen to freeze all your tracks and you're running out of RAM, or you're going to want to right-click the icon on the desktop and open file location. And then you're just going to see your compatible memory right there. I would make a shortcut to that on your desktop, and then you're good to go. It'll use all the RAM you have, and won't limit you to the 4 or the 8 or whatever it's limiting you to right now. So hopefully that helps. Have a good night. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you want to check out an earlier video, I've got a free download for a parametric EQ that automatically ducks below whatever frequency you want it to after a certain threshold. It's pretty useful for de-essing things, or if you want to add a little punch to something, then I would check that video out. Other than that, don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.